Welcome to the Weekly Hijack.
Hello, everyone.
Our episode tonight is question mark.
Oh, it can't. It's not a sound. It's just a okay.
Well, I don't know. It's literally a question mark.
It's literally
yes. So,
which is a good one for this episode. Not only because it's trying to find the question mark on the map, but because there's just a lot of
question marks.
I mean, this is perfect. This is a Damon Lindelof, Carlton Cuse episode.
Okay,
and it has a lot of that sort of like. They play with the ambiguity, but it works really well. I mean, they don't really answer a lot of things, but it does. It still feels like they're revealing all kinds of stuff.
It's classic Lost, raising as many questions as it answers.
Yeah.
What is the question mark? Well, there's a new hatch. What does it mean? Well,
apparently not what you think it means. Where do we want to start on this one?
Okay. Well, my first thought with the dream is like, okay, where's this dream coming from?
Yeah, exactly. Like, can we connect this to something, or is it just one of those one-off things?
Yeah, and it's hard to tell. Like in the later Echo episode, Echo seeing Yemi was Man in Black or Smoke Monster.
And I wonder if you couldn't make the case that Yemi and the dreams are Smoke Monster.
Are also Man in Black.
Yeah, because you're still doing this manipulation of Locke and Jack, and not Locke and Echo, and because I'm trying to remember. I feel like you need the. I don't know. I'm trying to think how everything connects. Whether who would most benefit from the hatch being blown up.
Well, I suppose Man in Black, but
it makes Desmond awesome, which is what Jacob needs.
Okay, true. I mean, if you're purposely trying to... Okay, so you're assuming that he was purposely trying to manipulate Locke into giving up on the hatch, even though it also made Echo believe more in the hatch, ironically enough.
Yes.
So, I mean, but assuming Locke giving up on the hatch was the end goal, then, and Man in Black wanted the hatch gone, what would the explosion of... Would it break the seal on the island? Would the island itself be destroyed? Because Desmond winds up saving things by turning that key.
Yeah, that's true.
So if Man in Black actually wants the complete whatever happens when the hatch actually goes, not the failsafe that Desmond enacted, then would it have been a preemptive?
I don't know, because that's what
break of island magic.
Maybe because. Again, with this highly speculative at this point, and forgive me, I'm sure lots of stuff in later seasons, but we always say season 6 is largely season. Wait, how did that work? Okay, when they're trying to they shut off the island magic and they turn it back on. It's like the hatch is like the same thing. You know how they work very much the same. You take the thing out. And it's a fail-safe key for the giant for the whole island,
right?
And maybe the hatch itself is a mini version of that might work towards that end. I don't. Again,
that's sort of a big test, basically, for the survivors. It's possible. Here's a question.
And it could be Island just communicating to people too.
Well, and here's a question I don't remember. We know the hatch is containing and releasing electromagnetic energy.
Yeah.
Is that related at all to the light in the core of the island at all?
I can't.
That's why I don't remember if they're at all connected.
What caused the incident exactly?
The incident was them, basically blowing up an atom bomb, and there was something at the heart of the island that the Dharma Initiative was trying to drill for, and then Juliet basically blew it up to. Well, let's see.
My brain hurts from that. Yes.
You both are rubbing your head. Your brain's hurting.
Well,
okay, let's ask this question. This might be easier.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, what do we think Yemi was? I'm not saying they didn't connect the dots later, but I don't know that they know everything at this point as a writer.
Yeah.
Is it just Island or is it Black Man? Because the thing is, the Smoke Monster's been running around Echo for a while. I mean, they faced each other off, and I feel like
that's true.
He knows Echo really well, and he's taking all those pictures from his life. That'd be my guess. I don't know what the motive is at this point, but it makes the most sense with previous Echo episodes and future Echo episodes
to be Man in Black.
Be Man in Black.
I think it probably is the simplest explanation.
Well, and then Locke's always been the Man in Black's been using him forever. Now, what they wanted him to get from going down there?
That's very
well. The things though
open for debate.
They Echo. You must help John. You must I think the goal is to get him to keep pressing the button. Maybe Locke was about done with it.
Yeah, and maybe it was. Maybe what the goal was. But if that was the case, it seems like that would be more of a Jacob thing.
That's true.
I mean, that's assuming you're wanting to maintain the status quo, which for the most part Jacob is.
Yeah, he doesn't care largely. Yeah. Unless Man Black thought it would completely dishearten Locke to get there, and then it didn't, and then Echo
and get the message and watch the thing, and
and maybe then Echo just derailed it because Anyways,
I mean
these are the fun things with Lost that there. I think people like a lot of clean answers. You can, but I think there's enough.
No,
you can make connections,
and it seems like there's. The creators, like, in terms of their own spirituality, they're very like, well, we really like having people just ask questions. Yeah. Like, they're much more interested in the questions than the answers, which is kind of appropriate for an episode titled Question Mark.
I mean, it is very postmodern in the sense that...
What do you think?
What do you think it is? And
trying to do?
There were 3 answers could be true, and
It's more deep if we don't explain it.
We are still talking about it many years after they aired it.
True. Wow, that makes it sound even more like a Machiavellian plot than Man in Black.
Okay, let's talk about the Pearl real quick since we're talking about meaning and stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, so apparently the hatches are being watched, or at least that hatch, at least the Swan is being watched. Mm-hmm. Which is really disconcerting.
Well, I'm pretty sure at one point they do get a camera feed working for one of the other stations.
Oh, because the Apache shows up. Yeah.
Yeah.
McHale.
But it's interesting though, if I remember right too, all the pneumatic tubes thing, eventually they show that those go nowhere.
They go well, not only that, but do you see that camera in the Pearl?
Uh-huh.
I think the Pearl's being watched too.
Yeah, I think the Pearl it might be more of an actual experiment than
the other ones are.
Than the other ones actually.
So
are.
It's
an experiment about people watching experiments.
Well, you know what? They always talk about some of these things about B.F. Skinner, behavioralism. You know about behavioralism? Is that what it's called? Determinism? Anyways, that things will go just right. Like certain inputs get certain outputs. And they mention them on these videos sometimes. But observing the observer, I mean, it sounds like something Dharma would do, would observe the observers, and figure out how people are reacting to people reacting.
Yes.
But insidious and insane, and the Dharma initiative was way too hippie for its own good.
Well, we were just talking though about right before we started recording about how the Dharma orientation tapes are one of the best things about Lost.
Yeah, there's many great things in Lost, but the orientation tapes are at the top.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
Anytime if they promote a Dharma tape, everyone was like, "Ooh, there's a new Dharma."
I mean, they would do that, but some they just do like ComCon, like here's an Orchard tape, and
yeah, and some of those I think were non-canon, but they were still fun. It's all the whole atmosphere and the fun idea that you found this footage, and it's found footage in the middle of a regular story, which is kind of cool.
And what's his name? What is the guy's actual name? Chang,
yes, Pierre Chang.
He's Marvin Candle at one point. This time he was a completely different name.
Yes.
But this one didn't have
Wick? Was it Marvin Wick?
I don't think it was Was it Marvin Wick this time? Maybe it was.
Possibly, because I know he liked to do the light thing, yeah.
The light thing. But he had both real arms this time, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And not a...
In a previous one, he just keeps one arm at his side.
He has a wooden arm in the other one, which he loses during the incident.
Yes. Yep. Which is interesting though, because what the footage they show of like the experiments they're watching look an awful lot like the hatch. It's not quite the hatch setup, but they must have had a pretty good idea how they wanted to organize it.
It is interesting, yeah. It's confusing. I always wonder how much of this stuff they had at this point, how much they had planned, how much was just general ideas. But they obviously connect it pretty well as it go.
Yeah.
But I just would like to know how. I know they don't ever want to tell me, but as a writer, I would like to. Everyone would be like, they didn't know it. To me, it's fluid, but I wouldn't know how
Yes. Yeah. No,
what were ideas?
You don't mind that it's fluid and they change their mind, but you'd love to get the insight.
When you write a book, that's what happens.
You
don't like, I will stick to my outline exactly. That makes boring books.
Yes.
Unless you're a really good outliner, and I'm not. But okay,
people who aren't writers don't understand that.
Yeah. Michael. Oh. Every line people said around Michael is horrible.
It's like, let's twist that knife in a little bit more,
I'm glad you're safe, Michael. Oh no, the worst one though was when Libby's like, Michael, like, don't worry, he's okay.
And then she like dies of fright.
I know.
Apparently, like the horrific look on her face is like,
Lost Writers, you're evil.
I missed the one before. Did he do that because he's trying to get Walt back?
Essentially.
Yeah, they haven't said that yet, but...
Yeah, they haven't said it yet, but that's...
I mean, Libby was an accident. He kind of planned to do Ann Lucia.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't want to kill anyone, but he figured that was going to have to happen.
And the funny thing is, later on, Michael's like, well, look what you people made me do. And then Ben is like, we didn't make you kill anybody. We didn't ask you to kill those people. You just did.
Yeah.
The others are like, we're pretty clever. We can do it. We'll force anyone to do it our own way, but we have these rules.
Rules.
Yeah.
But crazy dream sequences, everything around that question mark. It was, the whole, Echo's whole, like, look, I lost my brother. He had a crash. I came here. I found him.
Okay.
The Locke, this is where you lost your leg that one time.
We have to touch on one more weird bit of ambiguityness, and that's the psychic.
Yes.
What is the deal? Okay, so Echo's flashback is about him going to basically investigate this miracle and see whether someone actually came back from the dead.
Which is a clever thing, because then it's basically like, are these things real or are they science experiments? Yeah. I mean, the whole episode's basically the whole faith science thing done really really well in the episode.
Yeah, very much so. But the father of the girl in question in the miracle is the same psychic that Claire went to. That he said that you have to have this baby. Yeah. Except now he's kind of self-admitting he's a fraud.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not the sort of thing that a fraud would tell a pregnant woman. Like, don't give this up. I'm going to buy you a plane ticket to Los Angeles so that some adopted parents can get it. Unless he had some sort of weird change of heart or faith,
or people were paying him. Someone wanted the baby and he was being the middleman.
Yeah, but if you think about it, this is like around the same time as Claire getting on the plane, because Echo's on the same plane. Obviously, sometimes we forget that.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's bizarre.
It really adds even another layer of
what were they thinking with Claire's baby with Aaron.
I like we've said before. I really think there was a plot line there that ended up for whatever reason not working for them. They just didn't do.
Yeah.
Because you just feel like that at one point that was going to be a big deal or a bigger deal.
It's certainly another piece of the puzzle.
It seems like even at the end of season 4, there's Claire gets this random phone call and there's just backward whispers on it, and I think if you reverse it, something about don't bring him back or something like that.
Season 4? Oh, weird.
I know, it's just sometimes I don't get the Aaron thing. Aaron really just stays.
He's just a baby.
Just
regular baby as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the ambiguity. Sometimes it's particularly clever. Like, I think there's a lot that works in this one, but when you really press it, sometimes you're like, I don't know if they even know what they want to.
Yeah. That's the one.
And I think people who are very logical really are set for having exact answers.
They can point to things like that and be like, "Hey, come on now, you're."
But
playing fast and loose with us.
And so I think large, if you connect in the whole story, you can call follow on some of these things. I think as an individual episode, the ambiguity works because of the thematic things that are going in the episode itself.
Yes. I mean, like we said, it certainly gives us plenty to talk about and think about.
When I think that sort of like edge between faith and doubt is the whole point of an episode like this. And so not having answers is kind of necessary if you think doubt's a valid topic.
That's a good point, because if you just kind of spell it out, then okay, you settled on something.
So I don't call foul for the episode itself. Now, inside the whole context, there might be, you can't really quite connect things, and it seems. Now, who knows? Maybe there are all kinds of weird. They would probably say there's all kinds of weird forces even outside the island. And things happen, and and there is a certain amount of destiny that move. Jacob and Man in Black are not the only players. That there is this destiny thing that kind of just explains things that you can't explain.
Yes, there is some of that involved too. Yeah, so it's a complicated beast.
It's a long podcast.
So that's all we have time for tonight. Plenty of long discussion for one episode, but
I have to just mention, I love Mr. Echo. He's a great character.
Yeah, he is.
And it's interesting that he works really well when Locke is down.
Yes. I'm always curious what his role would have been if the actor had wanted to stick around longer. I don't know. Maybe it was always destined.
Destined to kill him off at some point.
Yeah. I mean, like, It's weird to think of there being two men of faith, around the survivors camp. You would almost think that at some point one of them would have succumbed to something.
And just weird because, I agree. And just interesting because, Echo believes when Locke doesn't, and then Echo's kind of doubtful, kind of skeptical when Locke.
Yeah, because when he first got there and first saw the orientation film, he's like, I'm not so sure about all this.
And Locke's like, yes!
Yeah.
This is completely true. So.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Remember to check us out at derailedtrainsofthought.blogspot.com.
On iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and listen to our parent podcast, Derailed Trains of Thought.
Yep, it's a different podcast feed, so if you found us some other way, check that one out.
Yes, it's great stuff.
All right, until next time, this is Tim.
This is Nick.
Bye.